Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the list operations. In the previous video I have spoken to you what is list basically, and I have showed you the example that how list, tuple and the other data types which are there in Python, how they are working, like dictionary and sets. Okay, so today the target would be that we should be able to cover all the operations which we can perform using list, and that is going to be very important because list is very highly used. Okay, so just make sure that all the operations are clear to you. So let's move forward and let's discuss in detail. So guys, here in the VS Code Studio, if you see, I just created a new program. How you can do that? And you can just click on file, new file, or you can name it like list.py. Make sure that you are giving the name properly. .py is very important. It is telling the system that you are creating a Python file here, and I already created that. So if you'll enter it, ask you to save this file at a location, and I already have a list file, so I'm not going to save it, but you can do create file and the file will be created. And then let's talk about the operations. Okay, so you need to make sure that you take this particular Python file from my GitHub, and this I'll give the link in the description box. Okay, so now let's talk about the important operations which are there. So number one, the most important thing, create a list of number with a given range. If you are given a range, and this is very important from the interview perspective and from your day-to-day work perspective. So create a list of number with a given range. Generate a list of number from 1 to 10. That is something told to you, or your manager is telling let's do something like that, or somebody is asking you how you'll do that. So you will create a variable. Any name can be there, like I am calling it range underscore list. Okay, and then list is the keyword I'm giving. This is the important part. So when you are using the range function, so this is the function which gives you number. So the function, this range function, what it does, it will ask you a starting point and the ending point. And see, the ending point is not included in the output. So it will give you from starting before one point before the ending one. So that's why I'm saying like we'll generate from 1 to 10. That's why we'll give the range from 1 to 11, so that it should give the output 1 to 10. Okay, and what this will happen, so this range function will give you output 1 2 3 4 5 6 like this till 10, and then this list keyword, what it does, it convert that output into a list. Okay, so that's why it's very important. And then what we are doing, I'm storing this in a new variable called range underscore list, and what I'm doing after that, I'm just printing. It's very easy. I have told you this about the print functionality of Python. So you just need to write print, and what you are giving in these double quotes will be printed as a message. So this whole will be printed as a message, and then the range list. So if you'll execute this 2 line of code, it will give you a list in output with this kind of braces, because list denoted by that, and the output will look like this: 5 6 7 8 9 10. So in this example, we have spoken about the range function, which is giving you the range, and then the list keyword. Okay, let's move forward. Add list item. If I want to do some changes, as I told you, what is list? It's a collection of data types. Obviously, that is number one. Then mutable collection. Mutable. The tuples are immutable, list is mutable. What does that mean? That we can do some changes. So you can do addition or you can multiply. That is going to convert the list. Basically, number will be changed, right? So let's say you have a list, my list, and the list is 1 2 3. Only 3 digits are there. So what you're doing, my list dot append 4. So what you want to do, you want a list where 1, 2, 3, 4 should be there. So this is the output. It is going to give you line number 11. This is the output. And then if you want to extend the list, okay, add multiple items. So you should use extend. So basically what you're doing, you are extending the list. If you see these braces here, okay, so extend, with extend, I'm not using just curly braces. I'm using the small list also. So what I'm doing, I'm adding a list with this, like this. So the output will look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a single shot. That will be the output of this. Now let's see the next case. Okay. So how to add element to a specific position in a list. Now in this example, I was adding the value at the last by default. Now if you have a position of that index basically. So if you have an index number of that, and index always starts from which number? I told you in the previous session, it starts from 0. Every index starts from 0. How to add an element in a specific position? Use insert. Okay. So insert you will use add an element at a specific index. So let's say I'm using this my list, which is already there, and insert. This is the position I'm giving. This 2 is the index number, which I have mentioned in the comment. Add 99 as a index 2. So basically, this is your index 0. This is your index 1. This is your index 2. So now your index 2 will be replaced by 99. So the output will say 1, 2, and then 99, then 3, 4, 5, 6. So index will be shifted. Okay. So that's very easy, not very tough. Now let's talk about Python list access. Now let's talk about this operation. And for that, let me just scroll it down quickly. So this Python list access is talking about basically if you want to access any element. So in my list, which is my list, which I have given already, I want to access first element and then the last element. So in my list, I'm giving this. If you give this as this, so this is talking about the index 0. That means the very first element in your list. If you are giving my list and then -1, so it will not start from like this. It will start from the end. So the last element is known as -1. Just remember this, okay? The last element in your row is always -1. So it will give you the last element in your whole list. Now let's move forward. List iteration operations. So if you want to do some iteration, it's very common, guys. Reason being, you need to, in real world scenario, you need to apply the for loop in many situations. That's what I am doing here. Let's say iteration over a list using for loop. Now for loop is something which I will cover in upcoming session. As of now, I have not covered it, but I want you guys to know that in list operation, when you will remember that Rajat told us that in list operation for loop is very important. So you will understand that, and you need to just remember that for loop is used with list. Okay. I'll tell you in the loop section also. So I am just printing the elements. So for any particular element in my list, I want to do some iteration. Okay. So my item is that particular iterator. This is known as iterator, and this is my list. So this will keep on going cycle by cycle on a iterator in the complete list. Just remember this for now. Don't need to take any tension that what Rajat is trying to say in this. Just understand that you can use the iterator and iterable in this particular operation. Just remember that for loop is very important for list. Now next is Python list search operation. If you want to search something in your list, how you will do that? Let's say search item is 99. You want to search 99. So how you will do it? You will put a if condition, if search item. Okay, this is the value. So basically this is I would say this is basically resolving into 99. So if 99 in this list is found, print. This is f string, guys. So if you want to resolve a string, like how we are doing, if in print I am using something, okay, in double quotes, and whatever I write in the print statement, it is just printing that. But if you want that to be resolved, so what do you need to do? You need to use f string. F string in this format, f then double quotes, and in these braces just give that value, and that will be resolved. If you are not giving f string, this will just print the value. Basically, that is a main difference, that why f string is used. Okay. So if condition is checking number one condition and else is checking the second condition. If else also we will cover in detail in upcoming series. Today, let's focus on the list. Okay. Don't get confused why if else or for loop. These are very important terms. Just remember for loop, if else, everything can be used with the list. Now let's move forward. For some other operations, let's say Python list remove operations. If you want to remove a particular element from your list, how you'll do that? So this is my list, which I created earlier in the same, if you see in the same lecture, up there. Okay, so what I want to remove, let's say I want to remove a value, so I'll not give the index here. What I'm doing, I'm giving you the value. This is not the index, this is the value, and the function is remove. So my list, which is the name of the list, dot remove and the element, and then I'm just print list after removing this. So this is a simple print command I'm giving. Now this is something which I want to resolve. Now if you want to resolve this inside this, how you will do that? Using f string, which I just told you, like this, and just pass this quotes, and inside this just write my underscore list. So this will resolve. Okay, now Python list concatenation, how this works basically. So I have two lists, list number 1, list number 2. This is the easiest way to create a list. Now 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now what I have to do, that's why I always tell everybody Python is the it's a very easy language because it's complete English. Okay, you just need to be good in English, that's all you have to be. So what you do, I'm just creating a new variable, anything you can name it. You can name it X, you can name it Rajat, or you can put your own name and just write equal to list 1 plus list 2. So what I am doing here, list 1 plus list 2. So this will give you a list 1 2 3 4 5 6 4 5 6 basically. So it's very easy. Okay, now another operation is Python list sorting. For sorting, how you'll do that? I have an unsorted list, you can see 3 then 1, so it's an unordered number. Okay, how you can sort that? Using this sort option. Just give the list name dot sort. Okay, and the by default it is ascending order. By default it's ascending. If you want to give the descending order, you have to give this command line number 56. Unsorted list dot sort reverse equal to true. So this will give you the descending order. And in line number 55 and 57, I am just printing the output, which you guys are very familiar with since you have been following this playlist. And this is the easiest way to print the message. You can see that these are the messages which I want in my output, and these are the value which I want to resolve. This is something I want to print. This will be printed, this will be resolved. So there is a difference between print and resolve. Okay, just make sure you remember that. Now let's move forward. So we have spoken about the sorting. Let's move forward for the rest of the operations. Okay, now if you see, the next operation is unpack your list. Okay, how you can do that? Let's say if you want to unpack the list element into variables. Okay, how you can do that? You can assign that value. A will be assigned 1, B will be assigned 2, C will be assigned 3. Now if you print this, so you will be able to see that assignment value which you have done up there. So you will see the assign value here, and the output will be very much subtle in terms of whatever the value you have assigned. So it will not take a shuffling that 2 is assigned to A. It will not work like that. It will go in sequence only. Now let's move on to the next operation. So Python list comprehension, this is going to be the most important one, guys, because this is something usually asked in all the interviews. What is list comprehension? Why it is used? Okay, so to create a new list using a list comprehension, this is the very effective way, because in a single line only you will be able to create another list from one list, and maybe some functions you can create some new list. So what I'm doing, I'm just creating a new variable. Any name you can put, no problem. Okay, you can put squared underscore list, or you can put Popeye the Sailor Man. Anything is fine. Just put it there, equal to. So this is the syntax you need to follow. Okay, this is the basic list comprehension way. So just try to memorize this. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just giving x to power 2. Basically this talks about x to power 2 for x in range. This is something you have to memorize. For this x, this value only, and in what? In range. Range function I just told you. Range also 1 2 6. So that means this will resolve to 1 2 3 4 and 5. So x is square for x in range this. So this is a range. So this x will pick it up and it will put the x square value. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 3 3s are 9, 4 4s are 16, 5 5s are 25. So this is the output you should get. Now this value will be assigned to squared underscore list. This squared underscore list variable will have this value, and then I'm just printing it. That is known as list comprehension. What is list comprehension? Again, in a single line, when you are giving whole this structure, if you do it in a coding way, so then you need to write multiple line and assign the value, but you just want the square root of certain list, so you use list comprehension. This is known as that. Okay, now the second last function which I want to cover today is Python list reverse operation. So you have a list created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then original list dot reverse function, just use it. It's very easy. Just remember, this is something not to understand. Just remember the reverse keyword and you will be able to do it. Reverse the list. That's it. Now next is nested list. How nested list works basically, let me tell you. As the name also indicate, nested list is about list inside a list, guys. Okay, list inside a list is very useful sometime, and it's very confusing also. So now let's talk about it. Nested list equal to, so there is this one list, then you have second list and the third list. List number 1 have only 3 element, then list number 2 have 2 elements, list number 3 have only single element. So if you see nested list, if you print this, so what this will give you? The whole output. If you give nested list 0, it will only show what? This is something miraculous. When I'll execute it, I'll tell you. Okay, so this is the index. This is how we give index. But in this case, this is not the index of a value. This is the index of a list. Okay. So this is again more interesting. This is going to be super interesting. There are 2 indexes. So inside the index of a list, you are giving the index of an element. Now I'll execute all these code and I'll show it to you. Okay, so you understand. So that is known as nested list concept. So basically you're calling the index between index. So multiple indexing you're doing. It's very interesting. Okay, and very important from interview perspective. Now Python list flatten operation. How you'll flatten this? Okay, so there is a flat list you want to create. So flat a nested list using list comprehension. This is a nested list. Let's say you want to flat this, or flat as in what does the flatten meaning? So this is a very complex one. So you simply want to write it like this: 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you want to flatten this list. So what you will do, a new variable will be created, flatten list equal to item, or you can put X. For loop, again list comprehension. If you remember, I just told you like 2 minutes back, sub list. Now I want to call sub list in nested list. What is nested list? If you see up here, this is your nested list. Okay, for item in sub list. So basically this will go over iteration by iteration and it will flatten the list. It's going to take how for loop basically will work. It will take one element one by one and it will put in a new list. So for now, just remember that list comprehension can flatten the list also. Okay, now let me do some execution work here for you guys to understand how this whole code will be working, and I'll share all these codes with you in the description box. You can do that. Let me select only this part and let's run this. Right click here and then run Python, run in terminal. Now this is the terminal down here. If I see, let me just go up. So this is something basically printing the whole output. Now let me tell you one by one. Okay, so in this list of number from 1 to 0, basically this is something I am printing the whole value. Okay, let me tell you one by one. Now you guys, if you notice down here, so all the outputs have been printed. Okay, but I don't want all the output to be printed. Let's say if I want to run only these 2 lines. If you tell that I just want to execute these 2 lines, how you do that? So the one way I told you just now, okay, right click, but that will run the whole code window. Now what you'll do, just select the line and then shift enter. Now you can see this is the output you will get. Okay, this is the output from line number 5 and 6 basically. So using the range function, you are just generating a range and the range starts from 1 and it goes to 10. Okay, now let's execute the other one. Select those lines, shift enter. So you can see what we are doing here. We are just adding elements. So you can see my list has 1, 2, 3. Okay, and after adding the elements, you have 4, 5, 6 also. Now let's go down again. Let's run this one. where we want to insert 99 at index 2. So you can see the output. This is 1, 2 and 99. The way I told you, it's the same. Okay. Now let's check the elements. Shift enter. First element is 1. Minus 1 is picking what? 6. It's going to the last and it's picking the first one. Let's execute the other one. Shift enter. So you can see it's printing the list which is there, my list, and it's giving 1, 2, 99, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Don't get confused in for loop and if else condition for now. For this video, just understand the rest of them. I'll take care of the loops or the any condition. Don't worry. But I want to make you remember this. That's why I'm doing it. Now let's run this. If and else condition, shift enter. 99 is in the list. Let's say if I give 999, so this condition is false, right? Now what I'm saying, search item 999. 999 is not there in the list. Let me again run this code. This is a tricky situation. Now it's saying 99 999 is not in the list. Okay, so it printed the else message. Earlier it was printing if condition. Now let's run removing of the element, shift enter. Okay, there is a error. Why? Because I have not selected the whole line. Now this whole line selected. Shift and enter. So you can see list after removing element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again 99 has been removed from this. Now let's concatenate the list. Let me select this, shift enter. Concatenation has been performed. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, 6. Now let's do the sorting thing. Shift enter. So the unsorted way was 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9 and all. Okay. Now it's ascending is by default. And then I give the descending command like reverse equal to true. So it's giving you the biggest element number 1, then the smallest element at the last. Okay. Let's go back to this one now. This is tricky, guys. I told you, right? Let's run this. Now unpack value 1, 2, 3, 4. So the assignment value has been printed. I told you, right? I have given 1 A, B, C in the print. Unpacked value has been printed as it is. Now A, B, C has been resolved to 1, 2 and 3. Make sure you understand when I'm saying resolve and print, there is a difference between both of them. Print means pick from here, do it here. Resolve means understand what is the meaning of this value. That's what I am doing here. Okay. Now let's go back to the next operation, which is the square, which is basically list comprehension. Very important interview question. Let me run this. Shift enter. Okay. You can see 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, which is the range 1 to 5, square of 1 to 5. Now let's go back to the code. Let's run this one. Reverse the element of a list. Shift enter. You can see reverse keyword has worked very well. Okay, it's very easy one, not very complex. Now let's access the element. This is going to be a very tricky one because in interview usually it has been asked. Let me close this refill. Okay, now you just look at this code, just think what this is going to print, especially line number 79 and line number 80. What is zero index? What is nested list? Nested list is the whole list, obviously, right? Let me run this and then you'll understand basically. Let me select these 3 lines, shift enter. Now nested list is obviously as it is, it has given you, okay? But when you call the zero index, on zero index, what is their output? This is the output. Why it's giving you 1, 2, 3? Because on zero index, this whole list do exist inside the list. So there is a list of list, obviously, okay, that's why it's nested list. So that's why it's giving you first sub list is 1, 2, 3. So you just need to give this particular command. Let me highlight this. This is picking you 1, 2, 3. Now when I am giving this command, nested list 0 and again 0. So inside this list, what is the zero index? This one, which is 1. So now according to that, you can fetch any element, okay? This is very interesting. I would say I really like this kind of questions. Now let's try to flatten our list, which is more complex. This nested list, it's very clumsy. Okay, so let me try to sort it out and flatten this. This is very easy. Again, list comprehension, you just need to remember there's nothing to understand in terms of syntaxes. Okay, just try to put it in your head, that's all. Shift enter I'll put for list flatten operation, and you can see that flattening of the list has been done. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the list, nested list has been flattened. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll put this code in my GitHub, so you guys can pick it up from there and execute each of the code. And that's why I put the comment also, so that you can understand at your end. If you have still any question, keep me posted and give the comment so that I can reply to you. Okay, on that note guys, I am going to wrap up today's video. I hope if you find this video very helpful for you, please share it with your friends and please hit the like button. And please, if you are on my channel for the very first time, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give your comment in terms of feedback. If you like it, if you don't like it, I'll try to improve. And please subscribe to my channel. Even I feel happy that my effort is appreciated. I put more and more effort for all of you. Thank you so much guys, all the best.